Unfortunately, in the medical profession, they don't do this. They don't look deeper. Basically, I'm taking one symptom and I'm going to show you how I find out what's underneath the symptom, because you never want to just treat the symptom without finding the root cause. For example, the ridges on the nail are the tip of the iceberg. They don't ask, why do I have ridges on my nails? There are several connections between ridge nails and a nutrient deficiency. You have to kind of know the potential causes. But the question is, how do we know which one of those potential causes is the cause? There's really only 3 deficiencies that are going to create the vertical ridges. Number 1, an iron deficiency. Number 2, a zinc deficiency. And number 3, a biotin deficiency. Biotin is a B vitamin. Basically, what I do to figure this out is I will start with iron, and I'm going to ask them questions to find out if they are iron deficient and if that's the problem. If they're a female, are you menstruating too much? Do you have symptoms of anemia? Like, are you tired a lot? Did they get weak easily? Of course, I'll get into the diet too. Are they a vegan? Because vegans never eat red meat, and red meat is loaded with iron. And when you consume plants like spinach, there's iron in there, but it's not very bioavailable. I also know that someone could actually have a genetic problem with iron where they have too much iron. And this is interesting because if they have too much iron, they're also going to be anemic because it's dysfunctional. Ask them questions about their liver. Do they have a history of cirrhosis of the liver? Do they feel better when they donate blood? Have you ever had a genetic test where they said something about iron? I'm looking for an iron deficiency or an iron excess. I might ask a question like, do you crave ice? And even people that crave dirt are deficient in iron. And then I also might ask them, are they cold? Do they have cold feet, cold hands? And that just would kind of give me a clue if it's more of an iron deficiency based on those questions. But of course, I'm not just only going to ask them those questions. I'm going to shift also to some other questions to rule out, is it a zinc deficiency? Do they ever have a problem with getting sick frequently and taking a long time to overcome an infection? I'm going to ask them about testosterone because zinc definitely helps increase testosterone. And let's say they have a libido issue or erectile dysfunction or a loss of muscle mass. That can help me kind of associate those symptoms with the cause. I will also ask them when they're driving at night, do they have a difficult time seeing in the dark? Night blindness is usually a vitamin A deficiency, but zinc is also necessary for vitamin A to work. And this is all related to a certain pigment in the eye that allows you to see in dim light. As far as hair goes, alopecia would be one symptom of a zinc deficiency. I'm also going to ask them about their skin. Do they have any skin rashes? Inflammation of the skin is definitely related to zinc. I might also ask them, do they drink a lot of alcohol or do they eat junk foods, which will really deplete you of zinc? And then I also might ask them about the foods related to zinc, because you're going to get a lot of zinc if you have red meat, but also shellfish, seafood, things like that. After I have those questions, I'll shift to the biotin deficiency questions. What's unique about biotin is that a good percentage of your biotin is made by your own microbes. I will ask them, do you have a history of a lot of antibiotics? Because that's going to destroy the microbes that make biotin. Then I'll ask them about their hair. Does their hair break easily? Is their nail thin? That's going to give me a huge clue on if it's a biotin deficiency. Sometimes when people just bang their nail on something and it just breaks, could be a biotin deficiency as well. If someone's very severely deficient in biotin, they're going to have neurological problems. It's called peripheral neuropathy in their feet. So that would be something I would also look for. But what you need to know is biotin, zinc, and iron all control collagen. And if you're deficient in those, you're not going to make the collagen necessary for the nail to be formed correctly. After assessing all these questions, it's going to be very easy for me to isolate the real underlying cause, or the most likely cause, which then I will either recommend eating more of that food or I will recommend consuming it as a supplement. As far as iron goes, I never like recommending an iron supplement because it's very harsh and I don't like the types of iron that they give people. I might recommend grass-fed liver pills or spleen extract pills. They work great, or just consume more red meat. That's for iron. And of course, with zinc, the best source of zinc is shellfish. Oysters are the top of the list, but you can also get a good amount of zinc in grass-fed beef. As far as a zinc supplement, I would recommend taking probably 50 milligrams of zinc in a blend of other trace minerals that include copper, because anytime you take zinc in higher amounts over a long period of time, it can deplete you of copper. I like my zinc to be in a blend of trace minerals with copper. You always want to have 10 times as much zinc as copper. So it'd be like a 1 to 10 ratio. And this is a very rough estimate. So if you're doing 10 milligrams of zinc, you have 1 milligram of copper. Then we get to biotin. If we need more biotin, I would recommend taking a supplement. But here's the problem. You don't necessarily want to buy the supplement that has the most biotin, because there's bottles of biotin that have like 30,000 times the RDA. So you don't need to go that extreme. But I do know a lot of people take biotin. Boy, their nails get really super strong. As far as reestablishing biotin in your body, like consuming foods, it's not necessarily going to be adding certain foods that will increase biotin, because biotin is in so many different foods, as it is to build up your gut microbiome. And for that, you want to take a good probiotic or consume foods that are fermented. One other interesting thing about biotin is if you consume raw egg whites, you can become biotin deficient, because there's something in this raw white of the egg that blocks your ability to absorb biotin. I just wanted to give you a simple example of the best way to figure things out is not to treat this tip of the iceberg, to find out what's deeper. Really understand that for every effect or symptom, there's a cause. All 5,700 videos that I have are all about making these connections. And this is a huge gap within our healthcare system. They don't make these connections. They just treat the symptom as a problem, and it covers up the real problem. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.